Davos'tan yayınlarımız devam ediyor. Bu bölümde çok değerli bir yayın konuğum var. Peter Howitt'le birlikteyiz. Kendisi Nobel Ekonomi Ödüllünü kazandı geçen yıl ve şu anda Davos'ta yayın konuğumuz. Mr. Howitt, thanks for joining our program and for making this time. It's a great honor to have you here. First of all, congratulations on your Nobel Prize.
Thank you very much.
How does it feel to have this prize?
It's really quite amazing. It's a life-changing event.
Oh, really? What has changed in your life after the Nobel Prize?
Well, suddenly I have a lot more people interested in what I have to say, and so I'm returning very much to talking to the public about economics in a way that I hadn't for a long time.
Your first time in Davos?
Yes.
So how did you find the atmosphere here this year? What is interesting this year?
Well, it's interesting to see, to be able to meet as many people as I have, to learn about new things going on in different sciences, in different countries, and so on. To have an opportunity to talk to people about what's important to me and what I've accomplished in the past.
So I'm sure you have talked to lots of people,
yes,
and lots of people asked you lots of questions. What is the most interesting question that's asked to you this year?
Well, I suppose the most interesting question is, but it's not answerable, is what is the future of artificial intelligence?
Yeah.
And,
that's the hot topic.
It's on everybody's mind, of course.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think is the most interesting thing that you have heard here?
I think the most interesting thing I've heard is that there are several technologies that I have always been somewhere off in the future, but which now seem really on the verge of becoming exploitable and scalable, such as nuclear fusion, such as quantum computing, for example. Different kinds of progress in batteries and solar panels and so on that I think are going to go a long way towards solving the technological problems that have been troubling the world for a long time.
When you're talking about economy, we always talk about parities, interest rates and everything, but you are saying something different. The growth comes from creative destruction, you say.
Right.
What does it mean? Please tell us in simple ways to the people.
Well, in the long run, to sustain economic growth, you need technological progress. Within a given technological framework, you can only get so far by stimulating demand or removing inefficiencies or so on. There's a limit to how far you can go. You need progress. And technological progress brings new technologies that render the old technologies obsolete. And that creates a conflict between the people who gain from the new technologies and the people who lose because their fortunes are tied up with the technologies that are becoming obsolete. Their human capital, their physical investments, their financial investments. And that conflict has to be resolved in some way. And how it's resolved is very key to the future of whether or how fast a country will be able to grow and benefit from the new technologies.
How do you think the tension between US and Europe will affect growth in the world?
I think that if it were to continue for several years, it would have a very disruptive effect. It creates a very uncertain environment. Technological progress requires people to take big risks in making big investments. They need some reasonable prospect that if they're successful, they'll get a profit from this. The more tension there is between Europe and the United States, the more uncertainty there will be about tariffs, about trade restrictions, about all sorts of problems that could arise as a result of this. And that's going to discourage investment, and that's going to slow down progress.
Do you think there are some sort of bubbles in AI, debt markets or crypto?
Well, crypto is something that I don't take very seriously. I don't think there's much future there. I think crypto has always been a bubble. I think that AI, it's not really a bubble. You might call it a rational bubble. There's something very fundamental and very important in AI. It's just that we don't yet know which firms are going to set the standards and lead the future. So people are investing in many of them. and many of them will not end up being the leaders. And when this becomes a little clearer, we're going to see that there are enough firms who are being devalued as a result of not winning this contest. That's going to bring stock market levels down at some point. So it has an aspect of a bubble, but it's not really. I mean, when people speak about bubbles, they talk about something that has no basis to it. Well, there's a real fundamental basis to this.
What about stock markets?
Well, that's what I'm talking about,
No.
stock markets.
Okay. So what about countries like Turkey, for example? Have you been to Turkey before?
No, I have not.
But you know Turkish economist Daron Acemoğlu and
I certainly do, very well, yes, right.
So what do you know about Turkey? For example, when you think about Turkey, what comes to your mind?
What comes to my mind, frankly, is the very interesting experiment in interest rate policy that was conducted a few years ago that provided wonderful economic data for monetary economists, but at the expense of the Turkish economy and the Turkish people. Other than that, I'm sorry that there's a lot I should know, but I don't know about Turkey.
So, in general, when you look at the world economy, do you expect a crisis like 2008? Do you think the risks are accumulating?
I don't think so. Not like 2008. 2008 was a case of very poor financial regulation, and that has been to some extent corrected. Certainly in the United States, which was the origin of the 2008 meltdown. So I don't expect it. No, I don't think so.
So, as an economist, what is on your radar in terms of risks and opportunities now?
Well, I think it's hard to look past artificial intelligence right now as being where the greatest potential for future benefits for mankind lie, and also for where the greatest risks are. Any general purpose technology like this that we've seen in the past, and there have been a few of them on such a magnificent scale, has created losses but also tremendous gains. The losses tend to come first, the gains come later. The losses, I think, are going to come very rapidly in the case of artificial intelligence because it's growing so rapidly, and its ability to replace cognitive tasks is growing very rapidly, and that's going to lead to a lot of job redundancy in the short run. The benefits are going to come later, so there's a difficult period ahead to manage before we start really enjoying those benefits.
So if you were to give one single message to governments, companies and young people, what would it be?
I would say be patient, look forward, be optimistic.
You're optimistic for the economy?
I am.
In general, for world economy?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you so much for making this time.
Thank
it was
you.
a great pleasure.
All right.